Hi students, Mr. C here back in the wood shop, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about something that everyone needs to have the skill set for if they want to make anything, especially anything that has some beauty to it. So what I'm talking about is measurement. And what I'd like to do is kind of just go over how to measure in the inches, because we do use imperial, not metric here in the United States. So remember, I'm a woodworker, not a videographer. So with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and get started. Well, if you look at, this just happens to be a combination square, and this is a 16-inch combination square with a 16-inch ruler. And this has different measurements on either side. One thing to telltale is on the inch right here, from here to here, there's an 8 above that. And what that means is that this inch on this side is broken down into 8 separate and equal parts. If you flip it over, on this side it has a 16. The 16 means that this inch from here to here is broken down into 16 separate and equal parts, okay? Now, if you want to get really, really small, on this side here, from here to here on this 1 inch, it says 32, and you guessed it, this is broken down into 32 separate and equal parts. But for the sake of woodworking 1 and woodworking 2, we build everything within a 1/16 of an inch of each other, okay? So for right now, it's most important for you to be able to identify and be able to label or know how to read a ruler to the 1/16 of an inch. All right. Now, on other measuring tools that you'll be encountering in here is this is a steel rule. It's 24 inches in length, and on this side is 16ths of an inch, and this side is 1/8, the 1/8 of an inch. And this is a 36-inch ruler. It's basically the same thing, broken down on one side to 1/8 and the other side into 16ths. Okay. So these are some of the handheld rulers and marking measuring tools. Now you'll see that this tape measure here is broken down to 16ths of an inch, and let me just come over here and show you real quick. 16ths of an inch. This one the same thing. And as you've noticed, all of these different rulers or tape measures pretty much are broken down to 16ths. Now, this tape measure here happens to have metric on one side and imperial on the other. We will always be using the imperial side. This one happens to be broken down into 32seconds of an inch, so every inch has 32 separate and equal parts. And this one here, same thing. This side has 32 separate parts, and this side, same thing, 32. Okay? But if you can read a ruler, you are going to be in great shape. Okay? So I just put together this whiteboard here. This is 0, and this is 1 inch. Okay? So I found about the halfway mark. The first mark that you're going to see, it's pretty much going to help you measure. Is I'm going to make a mark here at the halfway point. Okay? I'm going to use this. So this is halfway, and this would be 1/2, right? Because 1 and 1 is 2. 2 over 2 equals 1. That's 1 inch. Halfway, right? So, that's the black mark. Now, if I broke this down, instead of into 2 parts, well, if you double 2 parts, you have 4 parts, right? So, I'm going to go ahead, set this about halfway. Now this isn't exact, but it's pretty close. This would be 1/4. This would be 3/4. Okay? So 1/4, 2/4 reduced is 1/2. 3/4 and 4/4 would be 1 inch, right? 4 over 4 equals 1, right? Just like 2/4 is 1/2. Okay? Let me just continue. Now what I want to do is break this down into 1/8 of an inch. So basically in here, by the halfway mark, between each one of these lines, and we can go ahead and label those. Okay? Now, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 1/8 marks, right? So this would be 1/8. Right? 2/8 reduces 1/4. Now 3/8 4/8 reduces 1/2. 5/8. 6/8 reduced is 3/4. 7/8. Okay? Alright. So now we have our inch broken down into 8 separate and equal parts, right? But like I said, in here, your first year in woodworking, we'd break everything down or measure within the tolerance of 1/16 of an inch. So what I want to do is I have to break this down just a little bit further. So I'm going to make a little line about halfway between those two lines there. Now we have 1/16. 2/16 reduced is 1/8. 3/16. So guess this one. That's 4/16 reduces 1/4. This would be 5/8. 7/8. I'm sorry, not 8s. I apologize. That's 16ths. So what would this be? 9/16. 11/16. 13/16 and 15/16. Okay? Now on this ruler, you would find this number, you would find a number on the side like I was telling you. Because this ruler, or this every inch on this now, is broken down into 16 separate and equal parts. One little thing that they'll do on the ruler is they'll have a marking on the edge, and it'll be a 16. if it's broken into 16 parts, into 16 separate parts. If it has an 8, that means every inch is broken into 8 separate parts. If it has a 32 or a 64, you guessed it, it's going to be broken down into 32 or 64 separate parts. So here's all the measurements that you would see in a ruler. The best part is if you can count to 16 and you can divide by 2, you can read a ruler, okay? Now for instance, if I count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 over 16. If this number is an even, divide it by 2. Okay? So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 16 divided by 2 is 8. I have 3/8. This number right here, if it's an odd, you have it down reduced to lowest form. Okay? So, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5, right? And 16 divided by 2 is 8. That's why it's 5/8. Okay? I have some exercise sheets for you to check out, and I would like you to go ahead and complete those and return those back to me, and we can take a look at how you're doing so far. Tomorrow,